Hello, welcome back to Kirogor Studios Remnant Lunar Archon session 49. The picture I'm realizing is wrong. I'm gonna fix that while I talk. Uh, Welcome, hope you're doing well. We're having a good time tonight. We're starting a little bit late, but we should still be able to get a solid couple of enjoyable hours of game. And there we go, now we have the right picture up. Alright. Let's see who gets to give the recap, shall we? We're all here, so there's no excuses. It's going to be a 1 through 5. Has to land in the thing because I enforce that rule for everyone. Jack, do you want to try and give a recap while driving, or should I skip over you?
Sure. I don't remember all that much, but what I do remember is that we made our way to what was the city again?
Vein. V-E...
Vein.
I believe it's V-E-I-N.
Yeah, I kept wanting to think Vacuo, but I'm like, that's not it.
Vacuo is the country, with the capital city that also has the same name.
Yeah, we officially made it to Vein, and Gambit has some sort of admirer or some sort of, I guess, onlooker of sorts that left a not very specific note other than, hey, meet me here. So we attempted to go. We all did our own little things the night of. Turns out it was a bus. However, Maverick did so happen to see this maybe a blue umbrella person. And then we had our scheduled time to visit in the library, which is where we were figuring out about Thicket's background, the lore, and just adventuring inquiries.
All right. Y'all did go to the library. You met Lord Librarian Sasha Hellion, the Lord of Vane. Thicket and Maury, would you like to tell us what you learned? We'll actually go because you and Garon both learned things. And
What?
darn it, I forgot to look up Garon's parents' names. Anyway, would you like to tell us what Thicket learned? Huh?
I don't know what you're referring to.
About, his existence?
Oh, yeah. He's like possessed or something by a Grim. We don't know what's going on, but yeah. He saw a face like had red.
You cut out a lot there.
Sorry.
You saw a face?
We saw a face. There were like red markings on the face, and when it opened eyes, the eyes were red.
What was that last part?
You guys hear me?
You're just cutting out a little bit. I'm wondering if it's my side or yours.
Do I sound bad to everyone else?
Yeah, you were cutting out for me a little bit.
Okay, so it looks like it's probably your side. What was that last thing you said?
I don't know what part you guys can hear and what you can't.
That's fair. Long story short, you found out that Thicket, for some reason or another, has some kind of connection to Grimm, to the point that it would mark him in the same way as Sasha described, on similar level to like a tiefling being infernal. It's not enough that you would necessarily qualify as a fiend, um, but it's enough that like her exceptionally particular magic um, detected it and like kept you out of the magic circle that she has around her portion of the library. And you found out that in some way Thicket is connected to Grimm. You don't know exactly how, you don't know why, but you know that he is. And Sasha said the only other time she had seen that kind of reaction was from, as you found out, was from Asuka. As at some point, Sasha has done a similar test on Asuka. Garand, are you here, Chris? He had to be right back, so we'll see if he's back enough. Garand found out that apparently Sasha knew his mother, and she knows the his uncle, who is the Lord of Lahar, the Storm Lord. I believe his name is Gorwyn. She gave him advice that if he ever finds himself, it probably would be better off interacting with his uncle rather than avoiding him. Whether Goran chooses to take that advice is up to him. Goran kind of spaced out and went to play his, I believe it was violin for a bit, hanging out off to the side. As everyone went on, that was that. She then mentioned when y'all asked about white iron or memory iron, she first like, yeah, I know where you can potentially buy it, though it's hard to find, but I've got some ideas of where you could go, or I know people. But then with a smile, she mentioned that she knew how to make it, which seems rather odd because it's not really a material that you're supposed to be able to make, as far as you all know. She gave y'all some information about a ritual that she is capable of casting that will effectively allow you to, quote, experience the memories of an object. And so the party was discussing what sort of object in their repertoire they'd like to use. She offered to effectively foot the bill, the materials required for the ritual, for at least one cast. And she went and had one of her aides go to buy some iron. Well, in the meantime, let's get some lunch and talk about what we're going to use, shall we? And any other questions y'all have come up with in the last several minutes. As she waves her hand, seemingly indicating a message. And after a few minutes, you do see this rather finely dressed halfling man show up. He's wearing an apron. He seems to be some sort of cook. Comes up the staircase holding a rather large tray, much larger than you'd expect for him, before bringing them to the center of the room. And on a... she would use her telekinesis to bring down a table that seemed to be sitting off to one of the sides of the room, pulled it over between all of you on the different seats that you're sitting on, these rather comfortable, various like ottomans, small chairs of sorts, that as you sit, the table is brought over and a fairly large set of sandwiches are set before you all, of varying types, different meats, cheeses, etc. And after a few minutes, the halfling would also come back with a set of glasses and water. So, what would you all like to use for this ritual? Though currently it appears that Jocelyn, Jack, and Chris are all muted, so, Pickett and John.
We have this sword.
Hmm.
It's kind of broken.
Well, it certainly had to go through something if it was able to absorb memories, so it's very possible that this would work. If it's what you'd like to try, I'd be happy to give the effort. Where'd you get it?
I forget where we got that one. We've got 2, I think. The other one, I don't think.
The other one what?
The other one's not broken, I don't think.
The other sword or the other...
The other sword, yeah.
Oh. From the same place? So you have 2 of these, I would be curious to see them.
They're not from the same place, I don't think, but I think they're connected somehow. I don't know who has whose sword.
I don't know which 2 swords you're referring to, honestly.
Don't we have 2 of the swords?
You have 1 white iron memory. I'm sorry, shattered memory. And then if you're talking about the Scorching Solarium, you've been given no reason to believe that's connected to the shattered memory.
Oh. Can we retcon that?
It's alright, we all make mistakes. No worries. Yes, I'd be certainly interested in giving this a shot. Need to...
Hello.
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 Hi, you 2 are back. You went quiet for a bit.
So, like, I unmuted and started talking, and it just seemed like so I ended the chat.
Well, good, because we definitely weren't hearing you.
But I was just saying Doug was presenting the shattered memory and was saying that we found it in a stone.
In a stone?
Like, by obelisk outside of schist, I think.
Not quite. Close, though.
I would have to look at the map.
Feldspar.
Yeah, Feldspar.
It was to the south of Feldspar was where you found these ruins. Do you remember what the ruins were called? Well, Doug and Thicket, make intelligence checks to see what you can remember.
I have to. I
Right.
just got in, so
I'll go ahead and roll it for you then.
Oh, I haven't pulled up Fantasy Grounds.
You should probably do that. Thankfully, you don't remember these.
Probably do that.
Oh, both you rolled a total of 16s. You both remember it was a place called Red Orchid. Apparently there was a battle there at some point. You found the ruins that had been protected by a magical shield with 3 separate stones that seemed to bind the area. Protecting with a magical shield, almost like the Liamon's tiny hut spell, but on a much grander scale. Enough to cover several hundred feet around, protecting this location, these ruins. In the center of which, next to a fountain, pierced into the ground, was the shattered memory. Pierced into the ground, a holy symbol hanging from it, and various other weapons around, but it was it and the necklace were the only things that actually gave off any magical energy. So that's what you ended up taking after letting Sylvia after letting Sylvia take detailed notes and drawings of those things, she let y'all hold on to them for now, as she said, though she said she wanted to know if you discover anything else about them. That's what y'all would remember. So what do you remember? What's the place called?
We found it in ruins, not too far from Feldspar.
Uh-huh. Did the ruins have a name? Did you know anything about the place? The ritual's easier if I know more about the item.
Sorry, I was muted.
Well, Doug himself is not very magically in tune or aware, so like he wouldn't remember all of the magical
They
details.
called red orchid something.
Red
I have a flower.
orchid.
Should I get the red orchid?
Reduce the red orchid. Interesting. Good to know. I think that'll probably be enough to perform the ritual. Yeah, we'll eat and then we'll get started prepping things. Assuming y'all want to do it today, it'll be the rest of your day pretty much. Well, I don't know how long it's going to take. It's going to be at least a few hours. Are you willing to do the ritual today?
Sure, I don't got anything better to do.
Oops.
All right. As she...
Something happened to Thicket's journal. He doesn't have the flowers listed anymore.
Oh no.
Where'd they go? That was like the only place I had them written down.
A shame I'm not seeing on my side either. We can look back and figure out exactly what was where. There is Feldspar, Red Orchid, Schist had something. I believe you got Myosine and Sheer. I don't believe you picked up one from Keenite. Is that right?
I don't know.
Alright.
Where's
What was that?
okay.
Sorry, you cut out.
Gosh.
I know you got one from Delta, and I don't believe you found one in Vane yet, but you did get one from Delta. I'll fill those out later on, probably during break. But you need to know the one from Feldspar is a red orchid. A desert orchid. A desert rose, as it's sometimes called. Alright. Well, if you have nothing else to do, and she will... you see her use another message spell. Whoever or wherever she's referring these to seems to get a response as another one of her students, this older-looking man, probably very late teens, early 20s. He is human, and he has the set of glasses at the end of his fairly long nose. Yes? What's on my schedule for the day? It would be, as he looks down the book, he has at his side. Several students for tutoring sessions, I believe, for the rest of the day. Good. Delay them, set them to another date, reschedule, and offer them any delays necessary for anything for any assignments that required my aid. Yes, ma'am. We'll be booked for the day.
Did this help my mic at all?
You didn't cut out right there, so maybe.
Here's hoping.
Here's to hoping. After the next few minutes, y'all finish eating, enjoying the sandwiches. Nice to eat some things that aren't wolf. As wolf seems to be a thing in the desert that you've had so far, jackal and other wild game. Whereas these, they're like lamb and beef and chicken and simple vegetables and stuff that y'all haven't had in the desert towns that y'all been to as much. There were, of course, more in Sheer, but in the other smaller towns, there were more limited options when it came to the food you had. This seems to be rather generous and more practical, more quote-unquote normal to what we would consider. After you finish eating, she ushers you all away from the center of the room as she uses the seemingly endless time of telekinesis she's been using to move the chairs out of the way, creating a big opening in the center of the room. Lifting her hand up, and what you see now is a fairly large rug covering the center of the room where you were, lifts up, revealing a stone floor beneath it. The rug rolling up on its own and going off to one side of the room. In a fairly impressive display, she raises her hands and various items begin to float off the shelves. Different bowls that seem to divvy themselves up with incense from this larger pot. These various points of chalk begin to carve around the floor, creating this rather large magic circle. As it seems to be very intently paying attention to what she's doing, not even paying attention to y'all. Is there anything like you would like to do as she prepares the ritual?
Can I just hum the Matilda song that plays?
What? The which Matilda song? Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember most of Matilda.
It's the I can't think of the name, but it's like the one to where she's moving all the stuff around the house. Like
sure.
Inside her.
I don't know. I still don't know what you
Anybody
mean,
ever
but
told you you're the spitting image of a witch lady?
yes,
Well,
I
Doug
rather try to keep that image.
Doug is kind of excited that he's finally gonna see what's going on with the sword, because that was his focus. So he's just kind of in a more upbeat mood.
As she settles down, you see it's now divvied itself up to 3 separate bowls of incense near the center of this rather elaborate circle with various chalks being used to carve it out. Should I go with y'all? Should I stay here and watch? What do y'all think? Like, just in case she tries to do something while y'all are in the ritual?
Who's speaking? Maverick?
Maverick. Sorry, I know I'm short. What do y'all think? Should I come with? Should I stay out here?
Maybe you can keep guard and look out for that person you may have seen yesterday.
Okay. She seems to pay attention to this as she does, and part of the exterior of the circle seems to adjust, where previously there had been 7 circles around the outside of this magic circle. It has redrawn itself slightly to be 6 circles. As it finishes up, the objects return themselves to the shelves where they were. All right. We'll have to wait a couple of minutes for one of my assistants. She is going to purchase the iron for us. The sword, please. She reaches out toward Doug.
Doug just hands her the sword.
She takes it, reacting to the weight, her arm shifting down for a second as she adjusts to it. All right. She walks over and sets it down in the center of the circle. Good, good. Each of you that are participating will need to be in one of the circles around the outside. I'd recommend sitting. You'll be there a while. I'll be in the last one. You'll need to know a
What's
few
the
things. Yes?
maximum amount of people that can participate? Like, can we all
I've
participate, or is
actually
it
never
just
tried
like
more than 4, but, it's always worth a shot. I think 5 is probably reasonable. 6 might be pushing it. I haven't actually performed it with more than 4 participants besides myself.
how many of us are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There are 6 of you, including Maverick.
Okay. Ah,
I'm sorry, but as she points to Jackie, who has been rather playfully just sitting on one of the rugs in the side of the room, she will not be able to join you. We wouldn't want any brains being scrambled.
All right, girl, you want to stay?
She lays down on the bed she was previously sitting on. Well, not bed, but this rug that she seems to be treating as a dog bed.
I just had this bad image of an anime come to mind.
Which one?
When you were talking about like brain scrambled, I was thinking of Al and Alphonse.
Oh.
Yeah, let's not do that. Well, there are going to be a few things you're going to want to know going into this. It is unlike most rituals you've probably been through. You won't just be sitting there. You'll be active participants. The ritual, in effect, will allow you to live through the item's memories. I'm not entirely sure what they're going to be on account of not knowing the item. So good luck on whatever's inside. Be careful. While it's technically not your physical body in there, you can still be harmed. And there's no guarantee how your outside body will react to you being affected within this ritual, within the memory. So, avoid dying. I don't know what you're going to have to do. You'll likely have to continue the memory to its natural end, whatever that is. Yes, is there anything else? I can't really help you while you're in there. I'll be busy keeping the ritual going. So you'll be pretty much without my help once you enter. Do you have any questions before you do?
Is there a magic word to get out in case need be?
Nope. You'll have to see it to the end.
Are we embodying the object or like people in the object's memory?
Yes. It's entirely possible you'll find yourselves in the positions of people that it remembers. You may just be additional bystanders that can help in any fights that happen or even join in conversations. It may even mold the memories around to fit you there. It's worth noting what you see may not be fully true. It may be things that the object has absorbed. The memories of those around it, what it remembers of those, especially since it's already a white iron material, it should aid in the process. If someone isn't, it's weird to say, but important to the object or the people around it, to its wielder, you may not be able to make out details about them. Previous times where I've been there, people have been fuzzy. So no guarantees on who all you'll get to see or who'll even have names. Let's see. Or anything else I can think of? Oh, you're certainly welcome to try, but any objects that belong in the memory, you won't be able to use. So even if you visualize yourself, Doug, with the sword, it's going to be like you're holding a shadow. So
Shadows, I'm.
Hmm?
I said shadows. I'm used to.
Maybe, though. Don't expect to be able to do anything with this one. There was a knock on the door, and the young lady you'd seen earlier, having led you up here, comes in with this basket. Seems to be not too heavy, but she sets it down before giving a slight bow and heading back out. Thank you. And Sasha nods and thanks her as she leaves. Pulling the basket open, Sasha pulls out these 10 bars of iron. Presumably of fairly good quality. Setting them next to the sword on either side of it with 5 on each side. I don't know how much we'll be able to get out of memories. I went above in terms of the actual material. We've got roughly 20 pounds of iron. Should be enough to repair your sword, and if there's any left over, I'd like to keep it. Well, I'll ask one more time. Is there anything else you need to do, ask, or say before you leave?
Allons-y.
I don't understand the word.
Let's go. In French.
What's French?
Language from a distant place.
Actually, I need to check something. I was about to make a joke that you're speaking Celestial, but now I need to see if she understands Celestial. She does have some languages under her belt. She does not speak Celestial. Oh, alright then.
Well, it is celestial.
It's Celestial. Oh, okay. And I need to add something in because I realized I didn't properly add it to Fantasy Grounds earlier. Thankfully, it requires minimal effort.
Oh, Sasha, tell your assistant yes to the question she asked me earlier.
What was the question?
She knows.
Alright. She'll cast message and tell the assistant yes. Now Mike is curious what the actual question was, but if you don't want to tell me, you don't have to tell me.
It was like their side conversation about necromancy.
On Fantasy Grounds. No need to be a pill. It's not liking me adding this image in at the last second. As you all go, sit down, setting yourselves up, Maverick. Standing vigilantly off to the side. Good luck in there. You hear Claude call out from behind him. This is a weird kind of magic, but I don't suppose it's any weirder than anything I've seen. At least not around all of you. So, good luck. As you all take a breath, sitting down. Come on, Fantasy Grounds. There we go. Yeah, that's good. Boop, boop. Alright. As you all sit down, you take a deep breath where you are. Sitting and waiting as she holds her hands towards one another. Kind of the open palm fingers like they should be touching, but a few inches apart. As she begins to whisper in They are arcane words, but specifically, which language did I decide these were? Yeah, Thicket, you would recognize it as being a form of primordial, because I believe you speak primordial, is that right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so you would recognize the words, while they are kind of a incantation, and so the words don't all make sense, and I'm not going to come up with an entire incantation here. It does seem to be primordial based. And as she is doing all of this, the incense in the center of the room lights up. And parts of the magic circle, the white and yellowish chalk that she'd been using, actually seems to lift up from the stone. Seemingly from nowhere, you feel a wind, and and one of the windows out on the side of the tower opens. You hear a rushing as floating into the tower is sand. And as it begins to move toward the circle and begins to swirl around the inside and a bit outside of you as well, seemingly never touching you, but still filling the area. Fairly light, you can still see through it, but you can see the sand moving. The sword begins to lift, floating up from the ground. It shifts to where the point is pointing downward and the handle is lifting up, as some of the sand begins to shift around it, creating this globe to the point where you can't even see the sword at one point. Then the sand begins to glow, a slight yellowish color that pours outward. Excuse me. And as it pours outward, it shifts around you all. And you feel effectively like a tube. Not a tube, but like a tornado spinning around you of the sand, seemingly blocking out the world. Coming from the sword. As from the outside, Maverick would see almost like the sand is reaching from the sword and touching each of you, surrounding each of you. Except for Sasha. The rest of you, as you're surrounded, you can't help but close your eyes. And as each of you blink, you find yourselves in a place you've never seen before. Pretty understandably, having never seen it before, as I'm going to move you all onto the map. Do Thicket and Doug. I don't know if I suppose I might as well make it where you can see the grid. It's not going to mess with anything, I don't think, if you can. Well, I don't think the grid is necessary for this map. I'm going to leave it off. As you open your eyes after blinking, looking around you, you're in an entirely different location. There's no sounds of the wind. There's no Sasha there. There's no stone beneath you. Though, well, technically there is stone beneath you, but a different kind of stone. Looking around, you see these immense walls angled toward you in a pyramid sort of shape, reaching a pinnacle hundreds of feet above you, where you can't quite look out from it as the sun shines down into the chamber you're in. You find yourself standing on a humongous circular base, pedestal. Probably 50 feet across, maybe? Well, something like that. Yeah, about like 45 feet across. this large 6-pointed star beneath you. Looking around, there's a gap from the pedestal outward where on each side, each primary side, there are these 2 additional platforms out to each end, to the left and to the right. And beyond them, darkness, leading into the rest of this large chamber inside this pyramid of sorts. These separate standing pedestals are flanked by 6 large octagonal pillars. Or at least, I'm sorry, not octagonal. No, yeah, octagonal is right. Pillars that seem to be, I think it's right. Anyway, flanking you. Symbols in an old version of Draconic that you can't really read carved into them. And pouring from the sides of these pillars is this gold-like sand. Pouring from probably 25, 30 feet above you where the edge of these pillars are. The sand pouring around, passing the pedestal by entirely. You see this chamber. The rushing of sand around you.
Cool.
Except for the seemingly endless falling sand, the room stays quiet.
Doug immediately looks at his hands.
There are hands. It's
Are
like
they
Bruno's
his?
tower at La Casita. That's a fair point, Garand. It does remind you of Casita a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Lots of sand, at least. What was that, Doug?
Are the hands his?
Yep. As far as you can tell, looking around, you see the rest of your team as they were. See yourself. Well, you don't see yourself, but if you look down at your hands, you would recognize them as your own.
Why does this place seem sort of like an arena? That's suspicious.
Doug tries to manifest an echo,
Where do you manifest it?
like just right beside him.
You take a moment, breathe, and you create the echo next to you.
Okay, so I'm still able to do me. Nothing's changed that I can think of. Doug's gonna walk over to Thicket and just like kind of like touch his head. Like just poke it.
You poke Thicket's hat. I don't know how Thicket feels about that, but
Well, I mean, as Doug is coming to Thicket, I was gonna be like, "Hey, can you feel this?" And then just touch the hat.
how does Thicket react? You do feel it.
His ear flicks. Yup, I can feel it.
Thought we were supposed to be inhabiting other people in the memories of the object.
I mean, maybe we're just visualizing what the sword saw, however long it's been in here.
And yeah, Chris, I cleared the chat for everyone because I needed to remove something that was there that you weren't supposed to see yet.
Oh.
As you look around, your conclusions are your own. Doug, you're the only one that can speak Draconic. As you look to the left and right, you do see on the pillars, not the pillars, but the left and right stations you can stand on. Each of them has a word written that you can see. The one to the left says wisdom, and the one to the right says power.
I think.
Or I guess I should have let you tell them and use the chat thing to say that's what they say. Because I can do that where only one of you understands what I type in the chat. Everyone else just sees script.
It looks like Cyrillic.
And how high, or how, like, what's the gap, or like the height between the?
It's
what we're
about
currently,
the height between you and where?
like the platform.
The platforms to the left and right are slightly down, probably 5-6 inches, and are about 4 or 5 feet out from the platform you're on. The ones to the side are like 5 feet between the platforms and about half a foot down. The taller ones, the sand is coming down from, is 30, 40 feet or more.
Okay, and like there doesn't seem to be any like entrances or exits from the platforms, like to the north and south of like the sides.
On the picture there is, but in reality, no.
Okay.
They're just platforms.
And there's no like writing on the ground or like floor.
Not on the circle you're on, no. Just on the pillars.
I guess Doug's gonna walk to the right towards the power. Well, those two little dots, does he notice those on the floor?
You'd be able to.
Well, like, does anything happen if he steps on it?
Do you step on it?
Yes.
Nothing happens.
Does it budge at all?
Nope. There is a carving into the floor, but it seems to be the same piece of stone, just with a carved indentation of a circle around it.
And then, like, if I look off of the ledge of the circle, do I see any writing?
Like on the edge of the circle?
Yeah.
No. But you do realize looking down, you cannot see the bottom. Despite the fact that the sun seems to be shining down on you all, the light does not reach the bottom of whatever this pit is. The sand you see, you can track with the light of the sunlight down 100, 500 feet. It's hard to tell past a certain point, but you don't see a bottom. At some point, it just gives to black.
I'm going to take a copper piece and just like, I guess, telekinetically just kind of like float it, like just kind of hitting surfaces just as it goes down, just to kind of check like if continuously like solid all the way down, or if there's just like a drop.
Like tinking it against the platform on the side?
Yeah, just kind of like bouncing it back and forth between the platform and the center until I don't hear it.
What is the range on your magnetism?
I think it's 60.
So my
It's-
computer was dying,
Oh, that's not good.
and I couldn't find a power cable. Can I have a quick summary of what's going on?
We're in a big chamber with sand falling around.
Okay.
Doug is trying to gauge how deep it is.
Yeah,
Cool beans,
you're
thank you.
you're in a very large chamber that appears to be within a pyramid. There is a skylight several hundred feet above you, at the top of it, that is coming down upon you. You're on a circular, large, like 45-foot platform. Off to the left and right sides of the platform, there are additional platforms that are a couple of inches down and a couple of feet away. Easy enough that you could jump to, but not quite close enough that you could step.
Mm-hmm.
There are pillars to the north and south that are easily 40 or 50 feet high, and next to them, seemingly falling from wherever it's pouring from, is this gold-like sand that is pouring down around into a seemingly endless depth. Let's see what the range on telekinesis is, because you move your stuff as if by telekinesis.
Yeah, it says 60.
Yeah, telekinesis is 60-foot range. So yeah, you can get about 60 feet down. If you try to move the coin beyond that, or just down 60 feet? Because as you get down to 60 feet, you are still able to clink it upon the side of the pillars.
Yeah, and then I'm just gonna drop it.
It drops. You wait. Wait. And you don't ever hear it hit anything.
Probably landed in a pile of sand by the looks of it.
Maybe. So I'm a little concerned about like this platform thing. Can I switch places with my Echo? Just like right beside me, just to see if I can do that prior to like trying to do it on the platform.
Yeah, you swap with your Echo, and you can easily swap places. No issue.
Then I will move the Echo to the platform that says power, and then switch with it.
As weightless as he is, you move him over there, and as you swap places, it feels pretty firm below you. You stand on the platform. As the rest of you see him moving over to Doug, do you tell them what the pillars say? In Draconic?
I don't think Doug would at this point, because it's like not giving him much.
Alright, you would see him move over and teleport onto that platform. A different word in Draconic on each pillar.
I think Doug just kind of yells back of like, there's just a word on this and on the other one, but I don't know what they mean. It's just a word. It's like power and wisdom. I'm not sure what to do with that.
Do those doors at the ends of the platform
Do not actually exist. They're in the picture, but where y'all are, it's not there. What are you exactly trying to figure out with Arcana or History, Garand? What kind of information are you hoping to glean? It's not something you necessarily have heard of before. You can make a history check. Losing a hero point, alright. A total of 26. Quite good. Well, the first thing you would note is you're in a pyramid. And even though Vacuo is a desert and has some Middle East and African influences in terms of lore, Vacuo has no pyramids. So wherever you are, you're not on Vacuo. At least not within the last, 500 years. You would also note, in general, from what you've heard of stories, stories would be what come to mind of adventurers going through dream adventures, places beyond the physical realm. Sometimes they'll be tested, or there'll be riddles to solve, or decisions to make in places that don't fit with standard physical reality, or places that don't make sense outside of magic. Your mind even goes to the way that reality and space seemed to bend when you were in the dream of Enri, Asuka's younger sister. You get a similar feeling of that. There's an amount of not real to this place. And whatever it's asking you to do will likely lead you to whatever's next. As Sasha had mentioned, that you have to see the memories through to the end, whatever that means. As she even seemed to not know what that's supposed to mean. Just that it's something you have to do. You could be on the moon. Who knows, man? You're on a moon desert pyramid facing the sun.
This is Lunar Archon.
It is. You are definitely not on the moon. But yes, it is Lunar
What?
Archon. Can confirm you're not on the moon.
I'm a moth.
Dang it.
I want to go to the moon.
You are a moth, and the moon does draw your attention nightly. But that is not where you are now. Sorry, I can't really give you more, but without just telling you what to do, I can't think of much more to give you. It's up to y'all to do stuff and see how things react. Brain dump in case it triggers anything in his friends. Garan tells you all of that. That A, there are no pyramids in Vacuo. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. And, weird space distortion, place that doesn't exist.
Is there draconic along the four quarters, or is that just there?
The pillars to the north and south, there is draconic. But it's gibberish.
Wait.
The wording doesn't quite make sense. It almost does a couple of times. You see the word desert at one point. But looking back, it's slightly spelled wrong. At a different point, you see the word captain. And actually, there's a different word for each section. Desert. Captain. Monk. Shark.
Sharknado.
Sword. And this one feels weirdly different than the others. Not that there was any pattern to begin with, but the last pillar says Aether. There's a bunch of gibberish around it, but after looking closely, you would find those words. Desert, captain, where did I write those down? It was desert, captain. What did I say for the third pillar?
Desert.
Monk, I think?
Shark.
No,
Shark was fourth.
Desert.
No, it was desert, captain, and what do you say, John, for the third one?
I think it said monk.
That was it, monk.
Yeah.
Shark. Sword. Either. Those are in the chat for you now. I put them in Draconic kind of on accident, because that was kind of meant for everyone to be able to see. Here, let me copy and paste it again.
I guess Doug notices that there's like 4 like circles in the floor, and like I guess he mentions that maybe everybody pick a circle.
But there's 6. Haha. Wait, but there's only 5 of us.
Yeah.
There's actually only 4 circles on the main platform. Top, bottom, left, and right.
Oh.
4 circles, 5 triangle, or 4 circles, 6 points.
Everybody stand on a circle and somebody stands in the middle.
I'm gonna unlock tokens. I didn't realize they were locked. Move as you please. Where are you going, Maury? Can you go to the middle or to the bottom point? If you've been talking, we haven't been hearing you. Okay, Gambit, I guess you get the middle.
Oh. I thought I was standing on a circle.
Nope, you were
There's no
standing in an
circle
empty
there.
space.
Oh,
Standing in the middle,
sure.
nothing happens. At
Hmm.
least not from just standing there.
John jumps
Where?
just on the circle.
You jump on the circle. You don't feel any shift in the stone. Nothing.
Wait.
Hmm.
Doug, you said that they're in Draconic, right?
Yes.
Well, do you think that we're strong enough to fight a dragon? Because if it's in Draconic, it was probably written by a dragon, right?
I mean, not necessarily.
No.
However,
Doug, make a history check.
history check.
Gambit, do you have proficiency in history?
You think? No.
Hey, you can always ask, you know?
Skills.
Why is my history on charisma? I'm changing it back to intelligence.
Okay. You wouldn't think of anything immediately, Doug. But, well, you can think of whatever you as a player and what you think Doug would think of, but nothing springs to mind.
I mean, Doug's logic was he's not a dragon and he speaks Draconic.
I guess that's true.
But like he wasn't going anywhere with that. Perhaps maybe someone stand on the. Well, does it look like the symbol has like room for like something to be placed in it, or like there's something
Which
you know
symbol?
that it's just a symbol,
Which one?
like
Like the
either.
circles or the word for draconic or what? Or like the draconic words or?
Yeah, like the Draconic words, like power, wisdom.
So the words are indented on the side of the pillars. You don't see anything around that immediately makes you think it would fit in there. They are only about maybe a half-inch deep, carved into the stone.
Does Doug have his weapons on him?
Yeah, as you reach around, you pull out the Shattered Memory. And in your hands, it's weird. You can kind of feel it. And like there's a little bit of pressure and resistance to it. You can't like push through it or anything, but it feels lighter, and y'all would all see this as well. The Shattered Memory can kind of see through it.
I'm assuming, like, I guess Doug is just kind of gonna wave it around as he just like walks about to see if anything like feels different or changes. So like, I guess in his mind he's like, oh well, if we can't leave until we like finish the story, maybe I just move the sword around as if it was doing its own little thing.
And go around walking, messing around with the sword. Garand, you would see, while on the picture map, there are doors. In reality, there are not. That's just part of the map that I found that I thought would work. But those doors are not there in reality. No, you're good. Good.
Reality check.
It's a good question. Reality check finds that there are no doors on the walkways. Yeah, reality check failed. Roll a natural 2 or something. Not enough to be like, what game are we playing again? But enough to be like, darn. Nah, if it was a nat 1, you would have thought we were playing like 3E or something. But as
Can
you
Doug-
walk around, a Parcheesi. As you walk around, the sword does not react. And
Doug's gonna try to like clang it against like the platform.
for a second, there is a clang, and it's almost like it echoes, but it hollows out. Like, jing, jing. Near thicket, you put a sword down. Okay. You place the sword down.
Anything happen?
Nope. No change. You pick it back up.
Do the points at the end of the stars, do they seem like they point towards something?
Nope. At least, like, I mean, the north and south ones look like they're pointing toward the words captain and sword. The ones to the right and left point out into the abyss. Hey, sword, you want to guide us so your memories aren't shattered anymore? Says Garand.
Well, maybe if the words do mean something, then maybe the sword is on the bottom circle. Perhaps I'm at the top part. And then well, I don't know about power or wisdom.
What are the rest of you doing? What are John, Thicket, and Gambit doing? Word got stuck in my mouth for a second.
Gambit is getting his weapon ready because he feels like combat is about to happen. So he's pulled his
Standing
pistol out
there.
and made sure that it's loaded.
What does the stuff in Draconic say again?
The stuff in Draconic on the outside pillars, from left to right on the top, is Desert, Captain, and Monk. And left to right on the bottom is Shark, Sword, and Aether. The pillar to the left says Wisdom. I'm sorry, not pillar, but like the walkway pedestal to the left says Wisdom. And the pedestal to the right says Power.
Do you think we need to make like an offering?
Does anyone have like magic that they can possibly throw into the words or something? Kind of like we obelisk.
Should I do detect magic?
Go for it.
Yeah, do that.
Cool. I'll
You could
start
probably
ritually casting that.
Okay. Well, he spends 10 minutes
Ritually
doing
cast
that.
it, if you're not already.
Yeah. It's taken 10 minutes to do that. Anything y'all do in the meantime, or do y'all wait for Thicket to finish?
I think we'll wait for the first time.
All right. The end of the time. You look around Thicket, and you don't detect any magic.
Wow.
Except, how to describe it? You're not used to seeing it like this. You look for essences of large amounts of magic, typically. There is what's known as the weave in general, or that's the colloquial term used by mages to determine, or to say, like, magic that is throughout the world. Because magic involves, regardless of where it's from, divine, arcane, nature, you pull at the strings of the world to change reality. And so occasionally there's like bits of magic you can see, or occasionally you'll be able to see the weave a little bit, but detect magic kind of ignores that and focuses on big spots of magic items, magic people. And so besides the magic on your friends, it takes you a second, almost like you're adjusting your eyes, but glittering in the air like a light snowfall. Bits of magic just floating around. No type, no school, just bits of magical energy in the air.
Would it be reasonable to assume it's because we're magically in this area?
Do you think it's reasonable to assume that it's because you're in a magical area?
Yeah.
Seems reasonable enough.
Other than that, you don't spot any particular magic. Nothing jumps out at you, at least. Okay, this song is a little spooky even for me. A little spookier than it needs to be. There we go.
Hey, Thicket, can you create fire? Like,
Yeah.
try to light up the ruins?
Are there torches or
The,
something?
the runes. I'm sorry, the runes.
The runes. So just like throw a fire kitten at one of the runes.
Yeah, or maybe along this symbol on the floor.
Thicket will throw a fire kitten at the rune that's for power.
The fire kitten jumps from your hand, lands in the minor indentation, turns back at you and looks. It runs around on the rune for a second before it kind of... Well, did you mean for it to strike into it? Like you're attacking it, or just for it to land there? I guess it's a better question.
Kind of like an attack, yeah.
Yeah, and then as it smashes into it, the flames burst across the word. The fire fades. The word seems unaffected, not even soot.
All right.
Part of me as a player just wants to have Doug just like jump off just because, but I know that's probably not the smartest thing.
Why can't the echo jump off and see what's going on?
The echo disappears past like 60 feet anyway. It wouldn't be any farther than the copper coin got.
I
It's
guess.
30, actually.
Oh, 30 feet. It wouldn't get even half as far as the copper coin got.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's not something I can really do to help lead y'all along. I've given y'all the things you need to test stuff out, but you haven't tested anything. You've tested a couple of things. You've cast fire at something. You've stood on one pillar.
So which one says? Hang on.
Which one says what?
That's true, Garand. You did put sword down. You stood on dots. You
Sword.
shouted at sword.
Captain Wisdom.
Can we throw water at shark?
Do you have water?
I don't personally.
Thicket has shape water. It can't create any. But if
I have
Our-
a water skin.
water bottles
Yeah.
went
I've
with
got a water
us,
skin.
Yeah,
then
you'll have your water skins. So you'd be able to manipulate the water and coat the shark symbol, but it doesn't seem to react.
Hmm.
should I turn
What?
into a shark?
Doug, as you're looking, like staring at the shark and the sword, your attention is brought back to power and wisdom. That are the only clearly defined words. The other words are there among mixed up jumbles of almost words and misplaced characters. But power and wisdom are quite clear.
Are they close enough to touch?
They are close enough to jump to.
Ah,
I think Doug is going to get back onto power and is like, well, maybe someone else needs to stand on the other side.
Thicket
Well,
will
how
go
do
to
we get
wisdom.
there?
So, does Thicket or John get on wisdom first?
Probably John. John said it first.
All right, John, as you jump onto the wisdom pedestal, you land and you stand and you feel like the pedestal like moves, wobbles for a second, and you hear a slight cracking. Do you follow
Interesting.
after Thicket?
Is it stable for me to go up there with you, or should I stay down here?
I mean, you're pretty small. I don't see the harm.
As you jump over Thicket, you land, and both of you and the others will be able to hear additional cracking and shifting as both of you are feeling like you're moving, and you get the sense that if anyone else stood on this, like if you had any more weight, it might just break underneath you.
Oh,
Maybe I shouldn't have come up here.
You can jump back.
Turn into a spider.
does the turning into things affect her mass? His mass?
It does. Who knows what would happen though?
I mean,
Thicket will go back.
does
Oddly
the ground
enough, John, as Thicket moves back, the pedestal seems to steady and be making the grinding, cracking noises less.
and did it not seem to
Oh, wait.
Doug?
It did not react. The power one did not react to Doug. There was no cracking or anything when Doug got on the power one.
Doug's like, I'm fine over here. Maybe people want to jump this way.
Okay. Gambit will get on Shark.
Shark is
Wait,
45, 50 feet
Never
up.
mind.
Power is to the
Never
right.
mind.
Your options are power or wisdom.
Basically,
Wait.
yeah.
Power.
Gambit can fly.
It's true.
Oh yeah.
For an hour.
Oh yeah. He's gonna save it. He's gonna jump into power.
Gambit
For the
jumps
time
onto
being.
power, and as you land and steady yourself, both you and Doug feel the pedestal begin to crack and shift just a little bit.
Oh wait. Does it look like it's breaking or like a mechanism is moving?
As you peek over the edge, it looks like it's cracking and breaking a bit. Yeah, it looks like it's cracking and breaking a bit.
Okay, Gambit will jump off.
As you jump back off, Garand, it steadies again.
So there are only 2 of these pedestals that we can jump on currently.
Sorry, yeah, Doug feels the pedestal stop moving and not stop cracking.
Maybe you three should try to go back to the circles.
Okay.
Hmm.
Or did the circles don't say anything? They're just circles,
They're
right?
just circles.
This puzzle isn't toddler rated.
It's definitely toddler rated, man.
What?
Well, it's not even like it's almost not a puzzle. Is kind of the thing.
You sure stumped me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to. What about 2 on power, a little crack, and 1 on wisdom, a little crack, 2 on north and south dots, Garon says.
Yeah.
Thicket will
All right,
then go
Gambit
back
will get on
to
a little
wisdom.
dot.
Thicket jumps back on wisdom, and you both feel it crack and move a little bit again.
He said 2 on power, not 2 on wisdom.
Gambit, I need a perception check.
A perception check for
Yep.
why?
Because I asked you.
Okay, I'm going to use an inspiration.
Go for it.
That's a D4, right?
Yeah, so I added a thing to your sheet. On your actions tab, you don't have to necessarily do that, though if you want to, you can have that roll be yours for this one. But on your actions tab, I added a new thing called hero points. Hero points, you can mark off as you use them, and it also has an effect that you can add to yourself that'll go ahead and add the 1d4 for whatever you're doing.
Oh, fantastic.
Now you don't have to
Okay,
roll and then
so-
drag it to the modifier window and stuff.
So I just need to add the amount of hero points that I have.
So the hero points for the marked off one, because it goes away if you fill it up, you mark them off as you use them. So you now have 1 checked because you've used 1. You have 2 left.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But you can add the effect to yourself from the hero point thing and then roll the perception check. And you're standing on the circle thicket?
Yeah. I'm
Perfect.
not super sure where Garand wants me.
He wants you by Doug.
Perception.
Yeah, he wants you by Doug so that there are 2 people on power. So you would notice,
So, but,
Gambit, as you jumped back over and were walking north, you glanced back down at the pedestal and the side of it, and before Thicket jumped on it, the cracks were gone. The cracks that cracked when you got on it are gone. And as Thicket
So it
jumps
heals?
onto it, the cracks appear again as they crack and shift a little bit.
Are they magic cracks?
Well, they seem to be putting themselves back together when you leave the pedestal.
Okay, I think we just need to rip the band-aid off and jump on them and let them crack all the way.
It could also be that maybe it's separated to where Thicket would be more wisdom based, and then you, Gambit, might be more power.
So who's going on which pedestals?
Gambit will go on power.
Should I stay where I am?
But we probably need it to be a little
Wait.
bit evened out.
Which side is power and which side is wisdom?
To the
Left
right is
wisdom,
power.
right is power.
Yeah, left wisdom, right
Oh.
power.
Okay. That's what I thought. Are we all getting on power?
What happens if there's more than 2 people on power?
So, as the third person, as Gambit jumps over with Thicket and Doug, the pedestal begins to shift and crack more in the same way as when you had both Thicket and John on wisdom. And you get the sense that if there were one more person on this, it would fall.
So
Garon should go to wisdom.
it cracked more than power did with just me and John on there?
When you had 3 people on power, it cracked the same amount as 2 people on wisdom.
Oh, so should I go back to wisdom? You guys?
I mean, I
yeah.
think we could just go to wisdom.
So Thicket and John both get on wisdom. And Garand, are you joining them on power? Okay. As Garand, the last person to leave the center island, jumps onto power, he lands, and both sides can hear the cracking sound. And turning around, you also hear a much larger cracking sound as the central pedestal begins to fall away, breaking from closer to each of you toward the center until there's nothing in that space as it falls into the depths. And as both groups look toward each other, the pillars underneath you break. As you all begin to fall, we're going to take a 10-minute break.
Ah,
Ah,
I knew it.
Well, Garand agrees. Yes, I'm evil. I mean, what better way is there to split the party than to force 2 of you on one pedestal and 3 of you on the other?
Well, good luck, Thicket and John.
You'll see why I split the party later. Don't worry, we'll get there. But for now, it's break time.
I'm just imagining like someone dying in like this scenario.
This, whatever it is.
And then like this new character that comes back in the campaign is just like once everyone gets back to reality.
John, you hear Garand scream as he falls. If anything happens to Thicket, I will kill you. So, take that with a grain of salt.
wait, is this like an Inception type deal where if you die in the dream world, you die in real life?
Sasha seemed to imply that there were consequences.
Oh boy.
I accidentally just deleted Gambit from the combat tracker, but it's okay. I can put him back.
Alright. Bear me.
See, I put him back. It's great. We're all good.
So now that it's over, hypothetically, if 4 people would have got on one side, would the same thing still have happened?
No, it would have cracked a whole bunch. And then it would have fallen. And then you all would have fallen from the skylight and landed on the middle pedestal without being harmed. And then when you look back over to the power pedestal, it would have been back.
Or what would have happened had Doug just jumped off from the middle circle? Same thing.
Yeah, you would have fallen down and then through the skylight.
Now kind of wishing Doug had done that.
Would have been fun. Go skydiving without the pain. Skylight diving, specifically. And the words on the pillars are not meaningless, trust me. You'll find out.
What I'm reading is Captain Shark deserts monk with either sword.
With Aether's sword. Not quite, but it's a fun idea. Yeah. Let's see. I need to keep track of that. So we are going to put Team Wisdom at plus 100 initiative. And we are going to put Team Power at regular initiative. People who aren't there at minus 100 initiative. Okay, this song is a bit aggressive. Love you, Bloodborne. I want to play you once you get ported to PC. But chillax, my guy. Let's listen to some jazz. Not silent, not Christmas music though. You just finished Christmas time. There we go.
Has it started yet?
Christmas time?
Yeah.
It doesn't start for another 8 months.
Would you believe the decorations are still up at my workplace?
Some of them are still up in our house, I think. We got rid of some of them. I would have left them up until February, but my family disagreed.
There is a place that makes they decorate their tree for every month. So like whatever's in that month, they'll just like redecorate.
I do that. I want to. Well, I want to do that in my house one day. Oh. Let's see. It's 9:40. We'll probably go till 10:30, 10:40, maybe 11. Then end there. That not quite puzzle took longer than I expected. That's not a bad thing. Call it Providence.
Maybe I already knew, but maybe I didn't. But no one told me that Blue Exorcist was getting another season.
You're
I
talking about
feel like season 3.
yeah, there's already 2.
There's already 2 episodes.
No,
I watched
2.
the first one. Oh. Yeah.
But yeah, I was surprised when I saw the second season randomly on Netflix, I think. And then I was like, oh, there's a third season coming.
Mm-hmm.
Because 1, I didn't expect there to be a second season.
Right.
And then 2, the way the second season ended, I'm like, okay, now I think it's actually going to be picked up.
Yeah. Well, I had watched. I didn't start watching Blue Exorcist until like 2020. So all of the seasons, season 1 and 2 had already been out. So I watched all of them. And I wasn't expecting there to be a third season because it's one of those, in my opinion, like underrated. Is it perfect? No, but I feel like it gets overlooked in shonen. When it is, it holds up to
I
an
just
average
found
shonen.
the main character annoying, so I stopped watching it.
What? Ren is my baby.
He was annoying. He was angry all the
He's
time, and it
my
needed to just
son.
stop for 5 seconds.
Yeah, well, he found out he was the son of Satan.
Oh,
So.
well, that's Tuesday, right?
What show are we talking about?
Blue Exorcist.
Never heard of it.
Namine.
Mm,
I'm not surprised.
Like
You
it's
guys.
those like it's one of those like sci-fi versions of anime to where like not much is like the storyline's not all there. So like it's kind of like you're watching a sci-fi movie but anime.
I can recommend some actual sci-fi anime if that's what we're talking about.
it's supernatural.
Yes.
Like
Um,
modern supernatural or kind of modern
Yeah.
supernatural.
Has anybody seen like my Damon yet?
I haven't.
No. I haven't been watching much anime. I'm still trying to work
Have
through
you?
Noragami season 2 and Full Metal.
No, like I'm debating, like I haven't picked up any new anime recently, but like I know that all of the demon and stuff like shows are coming out, and I tried watching Chainsaw, like
Yeah.
I saw most of it, but like
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like everything's looking all the same, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I tried to watch Chainsaw and I'm interested in the story, but I just can't get over the gore.
I mean, I like the gore. I think for me, it's like I don't know. I've just not been, I guess, entertained by like the story
Mhm.
because it all kind of seems the same. Like
Yeah.
this troubled kid, uh,
Mhm.
turns out to be OP. Kind
Yeah.
of.
You just described like 90% of anime, my friend.
Well, I mean, those
Right.
are mostly like isekais,
That's true.
but
Mostly isekais. And a lot of them
um,
recently, unfortunately. Because there's some
but at
fun
least,
isekai ideas people have done. But that's not one of them.
Mm,
but at least like
my
Slayer, it's like very much Avatar like,
yeah.
to where he has to get there, kind of thing.
Mm.
Spicy take.
Have you
I think one of the best isekai is Chronicles of Narnia. Um,
my favorite isekai is Ascendants of the Bookworm.
that's an actual like good isekai though. That's a fair point. I've heard nothing but good things about it.
She's not OP. Well, she is OP in the fact that she's a child and literate.
Yeah, that helps.
But um well, actually she is kind of OP in a way, but it comes with a lot of downsides, so it evens itself out. Um but have you another one that's coming out is Solo Leveling? Um
Yeah.
That was a Menwa, wasn't it?
mhm.
Has anybody watched any of the like Netflix, like I guess live action like TV shows, anime?
I haven't. I've heard One Piece is good, but
I've only watched One Piece. I haven't heard that any of them are good.
Like
Um,
there's Yu Yu Hakusho just came out recently.
yeah.
There's another older anime that got like and that's out. I forget what it's called.
Cowboy Bebop went poorly.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
I heard nothing good. I heard much
But yeah,
bad.
I think those are like the main three of like
Yeah.
the older anime that became like TV shows.
Have you watched Trigun, the old one?
No, I don't think.
That one's good. I also like Stampede, the new one. Um, but I think a lot of people like the 1998 version a lot better.
I did accidentally make it Garon's turn, it's true. Sam and Maury.
Yes.
Alright, so we have Sam here. Maury?
Yeah.
Oh, good, y'all are alive. I also just noticed on the reactive images on the Twitch, Team Power is on my left, and Team Wisdom is on my right.
Nice.
Mm.
So that, well, I guess viewing from my icon's perspective, Team Wisdom is left and Team Power is right. From the viewing perspective, Team Power left, Team Wisdom right. Which is convenient that you're all on one side or the other. Well, I guess we better get back to the session. Alright. Team Power. As you are falling, you fall into this seemingly never-ending darkness. You begin to slow down. The three of you begin to be able to see each other as the room lights up a bit. Not well, but it's lit. As you slow down, you find yourself in an office, maybe? It's got an open window facing out toward a beautiful sapphire-colored sea. And you can see from where you are, from the view, into these almost like coral reefs in the sea, but as you see down into them, they're buildings. Towers and houses, halls, all beneath the water. You're above it, you find yourself on land. As the three of you look around, you can see each other, all looking like yourselves, sitting in a room but as you look to each other and look to yourselves, you feel light and slightly see through each other like you had through the sword for a moment. And there are two other people in the room. One is a fairly gruff dragonborn. His black scales, some mottled grays here and there. You see some of his scales have been torn off and scarred. Parts where they haven't grown back properly. But as he turns and looks back toward your direction, in his fairly fine red suit, giving a nice compliment to his black scales, you see a different person. Come on, Fantasy Grounds, chillax. It's all good. Grab the image. The figure looking away from you. For audience sake, if you can't read it on the VOD, Chris has typed that Garon begins to look for a captain with a sword who can help him kill a monk shark, or possibly a monk with a sword to help him kill a captain shark, or perhaps a sword shark to help him kill a monk captain. Well, I can answer two of those, kind of. You see a fairly tall figure in front of you. This somewhat neat golden hair. It's a little bit of a brown to it, but largely blonde, that, as you can see as it goes down his back, actually gets a little bit wild, despite the fact that it seems like he's combed it. It gets unruly as it goes to the back of his head. You can't quite see his face, not at first. As these two are talking to each other, you see the man toward your side appears to be human, as far as you can see, at least. He is wearing bits of metal and splint armor, these fine leathers, and this nice black vest of sorts, leaving his arms uncovered except for metal coverings and gauntlets. Hanging on his back is a very large sword that is incredibly familiar. On his back is... how to describe it? Let me pull up the proper image that I'm not going to show you yet, but I will at least find. Assuming I put it on here. I don't have it on here. I'll have to grab it later. You see this sword with white and silver and this bluish black coloring on parts of it, that a significant portion of which you've seen before, albeit faded, changed, and cracked. As you see, though it seems to almost shift in front of you between this nicer form and the familiar, broken, shattered memory, you see this person is wearing the sword on his back. The Dragonborn speaks up. You have to go, Dayton. It needs to be done. You have to find him. I know you and your crew just got back. But it pays well. And we really can't have an issue with the merfolk right now. How much is it? So Dragonborn reaches up and scratches his neck, the side of his chin. Oh, I believe the reward is 30,000 gold pieces. The man in front of you has been fairly stern in his standing. But you see Thicket, or not Thicket, you would be able to see Gambit, his hand like open for a second in surprise. Alright. And pay for damages. If they happen to come. Alright, we'll take it. If I can get the crew agreed. Appreciate it, Morley. It's a large favor. Just please make sure the crown gets back here. We really can't deal with anything going wrong. Not this week. Well, year, I guess. These have already gone bad twice now. Don't worry. I'll pick up your messes like I always have. And as the man turns around, heading toward the door, walking past you all, you can see this guy, albeit not holding the sword, he is in the picture. You would see that guy stepping past you.
And this is dated?
He was called Dayton and Morley by the Dragonborn. In fact, I could probably just identify the image. Chris has just said that Captain Dayton Morley has Riz. I want to leave that on the record. As you find yourself here, as he moves, Chris says he doesn't fully understand what the word means, but good enough. But meh. As he leaves through the door, the world seems to turn gray and almost fuzzy for a moment as what you're seeing changes. And you see a different atmosphere, dim lighting, a couple of waiters and waitresses walking around with trays full of beer, wine, other drinks, some food occasionally, and a large table that you can see there's at least 6 or 7 other people besides Dayton sitting at. And as Dayton comes over, he is carrying several flagons in his hand and sets them down. All right, boys. Got a job to do. What I understand, as he pulls out a paper and sets it on the table, there's a thief. A Triton. Or the half merfolk, if I think I'm right. Apparently stole a crown. We're gonna get it back. Prevent a national emergency, become heroes, and get paid a lot of money. The various, somewhat dark-looking folk, some of them looking more piratey or bandit-like, a couple more chill, more not quite heroic, but business first type people nod. Couple of the more rowdy types cheer in this table of at least 8. You look around, you see most of them. Well, 3 of you are replacing some of them. Or the 3 of you are replacing 3 of them at the table. But the others, it's the weirdest feeling, looking around the bar and looking at these people. As it's almost like you have a hard time focusing on their faces. And when you force yourself to, it's like you're looking at a blurred photograph. You can't make out the exact features of any of them. Some you can't even tell if they're a man, woman, or something else. If they're humans, elves. You can tell one's a halfling because he's short. But that's about all you've got. But you do notice one, as another crew member has his feet up on the table, leans forward, shifting his feet back to the floor. So, we going tonight, Captain? Gonna get started early or lose the scent? As you would see, this guy. Which I'm not going to reveal the name of yet because it hasn't been said. It's much more gruff looking, but has a slight charm to him, a relaxed energy about him. Not feeling particularly intimidating when you see him. Dayton looks over. We start tonight. You and me, we're going to look up the last lead. The others are going to scour the town. As he reaches out toward the others, facing you all. We're going to find this thief. Some guy named Aegis? Is that it? Aegis, this Aegis guy. We're going to find him. Preferably alive. But that's negotiable. And we're going to get the crown back. Don't let him leave port. Leash? Get a round of applause from the others before you find the world shift again. And for the record is Aegis, Aegis. It's apparently the name of this thief.
Thank you for spelling that. I'm taking notes.
Cool. In that case, for the record, Dayton is Dayton, M, and then Morley, Morley. Captain is spelled like Captain. Photo. Yeah, you'll find out the other guy's name later. As they shift, we find ourselves in the desert. It's hot and oddly familiar. At the same time, not. Looking around, the climate feels similar. You see mountains that look like they might be familiar in the distance, but Beckett and John, you find yourselves riding on the back of a very large creature. It's you two and this other guy. Let's describe the creature first and then the other guy, shall we? Doug is apparently jealous that they get to ride on something. Let's see, I don't have an image for it, but it is a fairly large creature, easily 2 times the size of a horse, not more. 4 legs, this tough gray skin, its long thin tail, and as you look toward its head, you see it has 2 large ears, and in the front of its oddly shaped head, a long trunk. As you realize, you're riding on an elephant. The 2 of you are sitting behind this. I need to grab his image so I can properly describe him as well. A fairly dark-skinned elf or half-elf man. Looks like he's probably early 20s, 22, 23. This glass jar of water at his side, this long stick that he has that's hanging off to the edge, this green cape of sorts around him. He's wearing fairly light clothes, pretty typical of the desert, but as he turns around facing y'all with his black hair pulled back tight into a ponytail, gives you a smile. Oh, y'all said you were heading down toward Gist, was it?
If you say so.
I mean, I wasn't expecting to find druids, but I guess y'all go wherever you come, right? Wherever you need to. I would like to also note that Garand has exclaimed monk. Or rather, Chris has exclaimed monk in the chat. Which, what a notation, that there could be a captain and a sword and monk. Wow.
We get the cliff notes first.
Y'all did. Y'all got the cliff notes first. Literally, because there were cliffs. Yeah. It's nice to have y'all along, though. Peaceful. Quiet. Y'all say we were from Vale, was it? How is it there? Ready?
You know, it's Vale.
Well, the faster I can get out of this desert, the better. I mean, I know I'm supposed to visit all the shrines and everything, or at least most of them. But honestly, I just want to get home, probably. I'm almost there. I don't know if I said, but I'm actually from down near Tecton. A little place called Carolis. Or at least it was. He wouldn't say that. That was me saying something that's wrong. Well, from there, yes and no. I'm supposed to go there and live there, but I'll probably get back to Carolis. Once I finish the pilgrimage, it'll all be fine, right? Did y'all ever have to do something like that when you were learning?
No.
Lucky you. Spent the whole time in the forest. Learned everything there.
Sounds interesting.
Master said I have to visit. All of us do. Every time. Whether you're Blue Waters, Living Flame, or whatever your style. Even if you're a precocious balance student, you gotta do it. Oh. As he pulls the reins back, the fairly light reins, as this elephant slows down to a stop, looking out to the front of y'all. From where it opened, from somehow, there is a ravine. From an earthquake, some kind of shifting, there is a 20-foot wide, looks like several hundred feet deep crack in the earth, going miles in either direction. Huh. Well, how are we gonna get you down, girl? As he pats the elephant. What do y'all think? How do we get across?
How wide's the crack?
Looks to be about 20, 25 feet. Probably about 20 feet wide. And since y'all are split up, and I don't want to make people feel too left out if they want to participate, the power team, you're welcome to give ideas, but the decision for what to do is going to come down to the wisdom team.
This is just like a ravine.
Yep, y'all have stumbled upon a ravine in the desert. And this guy seems to be interested in getting the elephant across. As he climbs down off the elephant, walking forward. Huh.
Am I myself right now?
As far as you can physically tell, yeah. Like looking
mean,
down, you see paws.
Thunderwave can only knock people back 10 feet, so...
Yeah, I mean, even with the...
Can't quite get across with that. Elephant centipede.
That's an elephant centipede. Weird. Thicket.
I mean, how far...
Make a perception check.
Perception is here. Yes. Okay.
I mean, I could just walk.
Good
across.
grief.
You don't you don't see it right now. Sorry, what was that? Sorry, I think I forgot your names. I'm Serdo.
John.
Don.
I mean, if I wasn't concerned about other people getting across, I could just walk. But I feel like everyone else wants to get across too.
Well, I don't plan on leaving the two of you behind on one side of the ravine, and I don't want to leave Rose here.
Your elephant wouldn't be skilled in jumping, would it?
Not particularly. You're druids, right? Do either of you have any magic, or any ideas?
I could turn into an elephant.
I mean, I'm sure she'd
that would
love...
help us how?
It wouldn't.
Nice of you to offer, though. I'm sure she'll like the company later if that comes up.
Is there any like is this like a new crack or an old crack?
Make a history check. Geology check.
Too bad Gambit's not there.
Yeah, too bad Gambit and his geology skills aren't there. Looking at it with your vague memories of what you've heard about different geological stuff in general, and whispers here and there in Coral. Well, it's hard to tell. You look at the map, which is weird. The map doesn't make any sense. As you look at the map, only one part seems to be there. Like, there is a clear part of the map heading from Sheer directly to Feldspar. But where you would remember vaguely from y'all's map, there are mountains that aren't there. There's hills and dunes on this map marked that you don't remember. And on neither map notes this large ravine. So you would guess, based on the one part of the map that makes sense, that it might be relatively recent. Maybe an earthquake that would have cracked open this area. Maybe something deeper than that. You're not totally sure. It's technically possible an animal of some kind, magical beast, dragon of the like, could do this, but it would take some time and a lot of effort.
So there's not likely to be a bridge in the next, mile or so.
Not that you can see from where you are. You could suggest walking around, but don't know how far this
can
thing
we
is.
see?
Looking to the side along the ravine, make a perception check. I'd also like to note, when I say the map doesn't make sense, I mean there's the section from Sheer to Feldspar, and then everything else looks like modeled watercolor brush that has been spread over each other and spread over itself.
Oh.
Looking back and forth, you can see a few miles. It's hard to tell past a certain distance. But you can tell, at least in each direction, it goes on for at least 5 or 6 miles. Surely.
How deep is the ravine?
Looking at it, you'll see it probably goes about 45, 50 feet down.
Should we just try and climb down and go across?
With an elephant?
I mean, we can't exactly throw it.
Well, that wouldn't go well. Maybe we could make a bridge or something? I don't know what of, though.
Let's see.
I can't really
mean-
make much of anything to stand on. that
Wish
would
we had
hold
some
an
more
elephant.
water here. I could just build as an ice bridge, but... Well, he gestures to the desert.
I mean, I got a water skin. But I don't think that's enough ice to make a bridge.
No, definitely not. Nothing can hold an elephant.
I think I don't have. Oh dang! I don't have create water prepared.
Well, if we need to rest, we need to rest. If there's something you have that's not prepared, that would work.
Yeah,
Now, what you have in mind?
I have create and destroy water. I can make 10 gallons of water. If you could do something with that.
I don't know if it's enough to hold an elephant, but it's worth a shot. Anything else come to mind? For the record, I, Micah, don't have a plan. This is just do what makes sense, do what y'all think might work, and see if we can do it.
I mean, am I able to do Thunderwave twice quickly?
I don't have polymorph yet, do I?
Check your spells again.
I mean,
It's not prepared,
oh right.
but you do have it.
I have polymorph. We could make the elephant
Oh,
something small.
That'd work.
Ooh.
let's carry her over.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we gotta make camp here then for the night. Oh, as he looks up to the just after noonday sun for the day and then night. Yeah, I'll go find us some dead wood. I'll be back. As he starts walking away from y'all, heading toward some dunes that you see some dried bushes or what remains of some sort of plant life. Is there anything y'all would like to do over the time as for a few minutes you feel yourself standing, waiting in this desert?
Did he take the elephant with him?
Nope.
Can I ask the elephant what's going on? Like, why are we going to schist? I speak with animals.
Hello.
Well, why are we
You look
why are we
like
going to
me.
schist? Huh?
You look like me. As it kind of pokes your arm with its trunk, kind of showing its gray skin to yours. We match.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
why are we going to schist?
Hmm. I'm not going to Shiz.
Where are
Huh?
you going?
Wherever Sir Dill goes. He wants to go to Feldspar.
Ah,
Yeah, y'all are
okay.
going to Shist. That's what you said.
Why are
Whatever.
you guys going to Feldspar?
Hmm. Gotta visit all the places, all the temples.
What is he on a pilgrimage for?
Well, for the blue waters.
What is the
Yeah.
Blue Waters?
It's the water ninjas. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Water ninjas.
I see.
Are you a ninja?
Not exactly. Um, what do the water ninjas do?
Stuff with water. It's like
That
the
was
dancing.
profound.
It's like the dancing, but with water.
I see.
Yeah.
Uh, if you were another animal, what would you most like to be?
Not a mouse. Hate those things. Always saying they're better than us. Thinking I can't hear their squeaking. I can hear. I got good ears. I know everything they say. As you see the weirdest look of malice you've ever seen from an elephant. Not that you've seen many elephants. I could be a bird. That'd be nice. Or like a dog. They seem happy all the time. I don't know that they think very much though. I
I
think a
didn't know
lot.
that elephants did a lot of thinking.
Yeah, what else are we gonna do? Got all the big head brain space for it. Gotta do something with the space. It's like having a whole yard and no trees.
Isn't an elephant's brain pretty dang tiny?
Well, that's rude to say. As you find yourself kind of making conversation and occasionally confused by this elephant, the next few minutes seem to pass like a shadow. You feel like you've been talking for a while, and the sun is setting, but it feels like it was just seconds ago that you were asking it what it wanted to be. You look over and see Sir Dill, and thicket working on a fire. As Thicket looks over to you, Thicket, you also remember, seemed like just a moment ago that he was talking to the elephant. And it was torting back at him. As time seems to slip away, I am going to long rest you both, since y'all are taking a rest in the world. Don't worry, everyone's going to get a long rest, and actually everyone would get a long rest anyway. Not that any of y'all need it. I think y'all are all at full stuff. But Thicket, if you want to change up your spells, you can.
Nice.
As you find yourself the next morning, I need Thicket to make a perception check.
Oh my gosh.
No, you're also doing the other thing.
Do it,
John,
Thicket.
make an...
Nice.
So that one you definitely notice. As you were sitting at the fire and looking over that Cyrodiil, you notice something. Hanging around his neck is a very familiar holy symbol, made of pyrite, and is a symbol of Aether. And you start to remember it because I believe it was you. For a bit, you and Doug were sneaking this back and forth into each other's pouches. As you recognize the holy symbol that was hanging on the white iron memory in the ruins. As you get to the next day, I'm going to need John, Thicket, and Cyrodiil to all make athletics checks.
Ah,
Oh no.
still doing stuff.
I know. Sorry.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's pretty bad.
Let's see. Cyrodiil of Careless. Cyrodiil of the Pickling Empire. I feel like Chris is making more jokes than he usually does, and I think he's taking advantage of the fact that he's on the chat to do that. Oof. At one point, what do you end up turning the elephant into?
I'm still trying to see how many spells I'm allowed to prepare.
No, that's fair. You keep doing
I
that.
think it's...
You know what the plan is. We will get back to the rest of the elephant stuff next time, because we are going to end in just a minute. But might as well check in on Team Power. So, Team Power. You find yourself rocking back and forth, having moved from sitting to standing. You look around you and see the ocean. Standing toward the front of the ship, you see Dayton looking out ahead. And you, glancing upwards, also see sitting on one of the upper sail riggings. You see the man in the bandana, a couple other faceless seamen, pirates, whatever they're called, sailors? I'm not sure
Yes.
which kind of people these are. Some of them look like pirates, others look like they could be in the military. Of what city or country, you don't really know. I need each of you three to make perception checks.
Well,
Gambit's dice hit mine, so I think I should roll.
Nope. Doug, have you ever been on a boat before?
I don't think Doug has.
Feels weird when you don't like it. Gambit, you've been on a boat plenty of times. Garon's been on a boat. Which is why Gambit a little bit, and Garon more so, you feel the boat shift. In a way that you know a boat shouldn't shift. It sound almost like a bump in the hull. You get a bad feeling. As
oh no.
you look around, and both of you are able to clock these abnormal cannons on the boat of this reasonably sized sailing boat. 2 cannons, one on each side, that have these arcane markings across them. So what do you 3 do? As you hear this, or feel this odd thud, Garand.
Was it like, did we hear an explosion before, or was it
Nope.
just?
You just felt a thud. And a shift in the boat. Looking around, neither of you see boats nearby.
Did we hit something? Are people around us reacting?
Most of them don't seem to be. You see the guy in the bandanas looking around a little bit towards the water, but no one else seems to be paying attention. Garan says he'll warn Gambit and Doug and then ask the captain if the water's dangerous. You walk up to him. Hey? Well, I mean, all waters are dangerous. It's the ocean.
I
Why?
was literally thinking the same thing.
Did something happen? What did you see? As he turns around to face you. Some are tamer than others. True. But worry now is what happens. What happens next? What do you see? They're rocking. What do you mean it wasn't natural? Boarded by whom? Look around. Sahu? Sahua what? What's a Sahuagin? I need Doug to roll a Constitution saving throw. Sea trolls. You've got to be joking, right? I mean, it might be something, but I don't think it's sea trolls. As you two walk over. Doug, you move over to the edge of the ship, not feeling super well, but as you look over, you're able to hold back any physiological response to the boat. But as Garand and Garand says, listen, I don't know what is in every cubit of salt water, but there are as many creatures of the deep as there are on land. You're right, Gunnar. As he steps over, the two of you looking over the edge of the boat. Garand, you're able to see from where you are a large fin dip back under the water as you see 10, 15 feet long, this large shark.
Shark. Yeah, let's go, shark.
But wait.
Wait, there's more zombie shark. Zombie
Doug.
shark. Zombie shark.
Doug. As you go over to the opposite side of the ship from them, looking over, you see this long serpentine creature. You don't see the end of it. You see this large serpentine not quite draconic, but more eel-like head snaking along the side of the ship, its neck going so far as to go underneath the boat. And as you follow the head, you see another head sliding up the hull toward the helm. As some sort of series of... Well, I'll let you decide what you think it is. But as y'all seem to be besieged by some set of sea creatures, as the wisdom team prepares to move a elephant across a ravine in a much more simple affair than whatever giant sharks and serpent heads are, we're going to end the session there for the night, I believe. Yeah, Garod got it. Wisdom team has puzzles to do, and Power team has monsters to fight. That is accurate. Garod says goodnight, YouTube. Is there anything anyone wants to says or do before we say goodnight to the YouTube? People seem to be tired and powering down. Understandable.
Bye, YouTube.
Goodbye,
Bye.
YouTube. Thank you for anyone coming and watching. We appreciate you. We hope you have a wonderful time. Hope you tune in next week as Dayton, Cerdil, and whoever else gets involved probably all die at some point. You know, that's how it do. We all have a good night.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Who knows, man? You have a necklace from one guy and a sword from another in a set of ruins. So, you know, come to your own conclusions. Maybe they won't die. Maybe they will die. Who knows? Not me. Except I do. No, I mean, things happen. Some things are guaranteed to happen. Some things are not guaranteed to happen. So, who knows? Do have an element of control over how this particular story goes. Ron says, by your powers combined, he is Captain Monk. Goodbye, YouTube.